What's good, everybody? Welcome into Early Edge Live, your daily, weekly, any sport betting brand of record. We are powered, as always, by the almighty SportsLine, the best value in all of sports betting. And tonight, it's hard to believe, but Week 10 of the NFL season has arrived, and it's Ravens on the road at the Dolphins. They're laying 8.5, and we're going to break it down from the sides, the totals, every prop you could possibly imagine. And there's also some storylines throughout the NFL that broke today that we absolutely have to talk about. So here's what we're going to do on the show tonight. Very special Veterans Day show. So we made a decision as a show. Yes, we're going to do what we normally do. 202, 404, 606, and you get the picture. Annual SportsLine memberships, there is no value on that. Now, we're also going to give away several to the military. What I need you to do, if you are current military, former military, or you have somebody in your family that you can prove is military, all right, we want to give out as many as we possibly can tonight because we appreciate you. I have such a long history in the WWE, ESPN with the military. My brother-in-law is Lieutenant Colonel. Former Black Hawk pilot living in Seattle now with my sister and their 3 beautiful children. So it's very, very important to us. Hopefully it's important to you. I need you to write what branch you were in and also your Twitter handle in the chat, please. And we are going to be very, very busy with that. Let's bring in the stars of the show. And you know when I bring in these 3 heavy hitters, I am serious about getting down to business. Right next to me, live from Nashville, Tennessee, we call him AB. Alan Bell, what's good?
What's good, Coach? That's awesome of you. I love to see everybody that is a former, current, or family member in the military. That's fantastic. Appreciate what all you guys have done, and let's have a great show tonight.
Let's do it. Right below him, and he's a very studious-looking M-squared tonight. What's up, Mikey?
Not much, Coach. Needed the blue light glasses tonight. Been bright lights, lots of shows today, lots of screen time, so needed to throw those on for this. But running through DFS right now and getting ready to enjoy this game. Like I say on a lot of these primetime slates, I think this game's going to be a pretty good one.
That's going to be on one of the T-shirts we make for Mikey. I think this is going to be a good one. Oh, the man right below him. It's always good, but I'm very, very interested tonight, Alex, to hear from you how you've handicapped not knowing whether Tua was starting or Jacoby Brissett was starting tonight. I'm sure you've been deep in the lab today.
I've been deep in the lab. Love hitting the lab. It is great to see you, Coach. It is great to see you, AB. Mikey, how you guys doing? Yeah, I'm super stoked. I'm with Mikey. I think this is going to be a very interesting football game. I can't wait to get into it.
All right, we're going to get into it in about 10 or 12 minutes or so. But first, I've got to hit on some big-time storylines, guys, today that will, without question, affect betting lines this weekend. And, AB, I want to start with you because I guess I'm not shocked that Cam Newton was signed to a team. I guess I am shocked that it was Carolina, and it's up to $10 million for the rest of the season. That's how desperate they were to get a quarterback who was competent because they still have a shot legitimately at the playoffs this year.
Yeah, they do. And it's fascinating to see all the moves that they made, not only, what they traded away to get Sam Darnold before this season, and now Cam Newton having him there as well. Look, they need him. They absolutely need him. And we've seen this Carolina Panthers team, the way that they started the first 3 weeks and really what they've done the last 5 weeks or so. What it goes to show you is that team is heavily leveraged on Christian McCaffrey.
Big time. Mikey, let me come to you. The price tag for, 9 games, 8 games? I have to get the exact total. But $10 million? I mean, they were desperate. I guess they don't think P.J. Walker's the answer.
They were desperate, and they don't think P.J. Walker or Sam Darnold are the answer. They're looking at a long-term deal, again, with Cam Newton potentially, if he can come in and prove himself here. That's part of what's baked into this. I think a lot of it is Christian McCaffrey potentially wanting him to play there. So it's interesting. It's eye-popping, to say the least, but it's an upgrade for them. There's no doubt about it. It's an upgrade. Either one of them in any – Cam Newton's worst performance of his career is still better than Sam Darnold's highlight reel, frankly. So it's an upgrade for the team, no doubt.
So many good things in the chat already that we will read throughout the night. Chris said, my dad, who passed from cancer 2 months ago, served in the Navy 21 years and ended as a chief petty officer. Rest in peace, Dad. Chris, thank you very much for that message. Let's keep them coming. Remember, if you are a part of the military, write it in the chat, what you are in, what you are in, and your Twitter handle. There is what Mikey was talking about. And Alex, as we show the different numbers with Sam Darnold, with Cam Newton, and the comparisons, from your perspective, of being one of the top prop guys in the country, how does it affect when you think about the Panthers games moving forward?
Yeah, this has a huge impact on the Panthers. In my opinion, this Panthers defense was certainly a playoff caliber defense. I'd probably pump the brakes on calling them a Super Bowl caliber defense, but yeah, this is a very good Carolina defense, a ton of young talent. They obviously added Stephon Gilmore, which I think was a great acquisition for them. And yeah, Sam Darnold has just been abysmal this season. He has not been good whatsoever, and we've seen his play, and obviously he was playing hurt most likely, but yeah, his play has just tailed off in recent weeks. So yeah, I think this is a huge opportunity for Cam. It would not surprise me whatsoever to see him come in and play well on this team. I don't know if that's necessarily going to translate to big production. I think the Panthers are going to lean heavily on McCaffrey, on their defense, run the ball a lot. It may not result in a lot of gaudy stat lines that we're hoping for as prop bettors, but yeah, I do think this will have certainly a positive effect on the team.
Let's continue to pound that like button. We got to get to 200 before we give away our first 2 year-long memberships. Think about this for a second and where the league is now, and we're going to move on to OBJ, but where the league is now as opposed to when Cam came in the league 10 years ago. And I forgot, or 11 years ago, that he played 9 seasons in Carolina. It feels like he's been around like that, but he's going to make in half a season basically what they made 10 years ago in a full season as a quarterback, because now 20 to 30 million is a going rate for a really good starting quarterback. Now, I mentioned OBJ. Let me come back to you, AB, because after all of the stories and all of the teams that he was leaning to, and then you got the Chiefs, you got the Saints, you got the Packers, and all of a sudden, the LA Rams emerge. And King James, LeBron was like, come on home. Come on to LA. And that's exactly what happened. So now OBJ is going to the Rams the same week that Von Miller went to the Rams. But guess what, AB? Their Super Bowl odds didn't change 1 cent. Still plus 750. What do you make of that?
Yeah, so, it goes to show that, one, they're not expecting him, books are not expecting him to have a massive difference, on that team. But look, his role in that team is basically going to be what they wanted Deshaun Jackson to be. Somebody who can potentially take the top off of a defense, somebody who can garner interest from members of the secondary of the teams that they are playing. So even if OBJ's stats aren't that huge, he can make a difference for this offense. And one quick note on Cam Newton, assuming that he's not going to play this weekend, I don't have the schedule in front of me, but I believe the Panthers next weekend play Washington, who is the head coach, Ron Rivera, his former head coach. So I'm fascinated to see that one. But I will say this. When you're looking at these numbers right here, the SportsLine advanced model, okay, the Rams already have high numbers, so it's difficult for really anyone to make a massive difference here. But look at that division, 23.3% to 24.4%. And as difficult of a division as that is with, 4 teams seemingly who can win that, that's actually a pretty big difference, so to say. And then you look at 11.1% to 11.5% to win the Super Bowl. That's kind of a big deal as well, because all teams are theoretically involved in those percentages. So while OBJ's numbers probably won't be big, there is a potential for him to make a difference for this team, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes complete sense. Shout out to the jeweler for making that incredible graphic. Betbird in the chat, great note. Lost my dad to lung cancer in March 2020. He was in the Army in Vietnam. Great man. Miss him daily. Thank you to all those who have served. Bet, thank you for writing that note in the chat. We certainly do appreciate that. Mikey, let me come to you, because OBJ has always been the biggest name, the biggest personality, and for certain years, the biggest wide receiver on his team as far as put out is concerned. Over 1,000 yards, a couple of different seasons. But now he's coming to a team that has Cooper Kupp, who is leading the league in catches, yards, and touchdowns. Do you think OBJ's his ego will allow him to be the number 3 guy behind Kupp and Robert Woods?
Yeah, and I don't even think he's guaranteed to be the number 3 guy. I think it's going to take a heck of a lot of work to pass Van Jefferson on that depth chart. I think he'll be number 4, but I think for him, it clearly shows that it wasn't about volume. It was clearly a personal issue in Cleveland. If it was about volume, he would have gone to Green Bay or somewhere else where he would be a clear number 2 that's going to see 7 to 10 targets a game instantly. Here they might work him in a little bit, and it might take a little bit of a hit to like someone like Higbee. They might run some different packages, get 4 of those receivers out there more often. But as far as him coming in here and competing for the third role, I don't think that's going to happen. I think that why the Rams potentially had some interest here is he's obviously talented. He obviously can draw some attention, but one thing the Rams haven't had yet this year that other teams have, they haven't had any injuries. And it's still a long season. There's still a lot left. He adds a lot of much needed depth should there be an issue with any of those 3 receivers down the stretch. So I think that's going to help. I think that there are situations where they are winning games by 10 plus points. You might see him come in there and take a few snaps away from Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods when the game is out of control a little bit. So I think it's really about the depth and prolonging some of that there. So that's what I think the interest was on the Rams side. It's not surprising that it didn't impact the betting market much, just because, skill position players like running backs, wide receivers really don't matter all that much in the grand scheme of things, especially when there's already a number of good players on the team. But I think going back to the Cam Newton one quickly, I think that one was interesting. You look at how much that changed their playoff percentage. It only went from like 8 to 10%. Doesn't seem like a lot, but that's huge. That's a 25% increase in their probability of making the playoffs. That is a big, big deal, even though it's such a small number that you're looking at.
A lot of great information right there. Kelsey, thank you very much. Kelsey is running the chat from now on for me. I'm officially making her my lieutenant in the chat every single show. Kelsey, handle the business. Now, Alex, let me come to you before we get into the game tonight, because when you think about OBJ and everything that Mikey just said and everything that AB just said, from a props perspective, it may not have any effect at all because we might not even see numbers from him for a few weeks.
Yeah, I'm not expecting him to be overly productive. I don't think his role is going to, frankly, result in a lot of production. This is just an absolutely terrific landing spot for him, though. If you look at the quarterbacks that OBJ has had throughout his career, Stafford is certainly the best quarterback that has thrown passes to him. Furthermore, Sean McVay, I would also say that is the best coach that he's had. He's truly an offensive mastermind. So, yeah, I think this is a phenomenal landing spot for him. I don't think that they're going to require him to produce a lot in order for him to make the sort of impact they're looking for. I do think he's an absolutely fantastic piece of depth, as Mike suggested. But yeah, I do expect him to be good in this offense. If he's not, I mean, there's not really many better situations that you can fall into. So yeah, I think he's going to be good, but I think expectations should be tempered somewhat with him because it's likely to result in 3 to 5 targets per game, which, won't be the sort of production that we're used to seeing with an alpha wide receiver one like OBJ has been in the past. We haven't seen that obviously on Cleveland, which was part of the issue there. But yeah, I'm not expecting a large role for him in the Rams offense.
And that is exactly why I have OBJ fatigue. Everything you just said, specifically at the end, I just don't think he has that edge anymore. I don't think he's a top flight player in the NFL. And I think that's something that we're forgetting. The name, yes, he has a star name, but he certainly doesn't have the star potential anymore, at least in my opinion. All right, we have crossed the bottom of the hour. It's about 35 after. Thank you all very much for watching Early Edge Live. Let's continue to pound that like button. We got to hit sides, totals, props over the course of the next 25 minutes. Then, of course, at the top of the hour, we'll do our Van Jefferson Memorial first touchdown of the game selection that all of you like so very much. Continue to tell your stories in the chat. If you're in the military, tell us what branch you were in and leave your Twitter handle too. We're giving away as many year-long subs as we can, specifically military tonight, and those of you regular people watching the show as well. All right, guys, so here's the numbers we're going with tonight. It's been hovering between 7.5 and 8.5, but it's been over 7 consistently, regardless of the Tua news. He's going to be a game-time decision, so there's been no Tua props yet that I have seen. AB, let me start with you. The number 7.5 or even 8. It's over 7. Your thoughts on the side?
Yeah, so I think that we're going to have a very, very interesting game tonight to where you're going to see some big play potential. You're going to see some slop, quite frankly. You're going to get everything. in this game tonight. What worries me in terms of a spread is that I've bet Baltimore a couple times this season, and quite frankly, a couple times, the last few seasons. And the issue with them is that when you have the best kicker in the NFL, it's easy to just kind of plan on doing that and using him, especially late in games if it's tight. So if you've got a number above 3.5, you could get burned because they're not afraid to burn clock, run it down, get to the 35, and let Mr. Automatic, Justin Tucker, take home the win. That happens so many times with this team, not to mention they really don't get up on teams. They've played from behind a lot this year as well. So I'm not saying don't bet it. What I am saying is that especially when it's over 7, just be careful with Baltimore because they could play down to competition and you get in that fourth quarter and Justin Tucker's coming. It gets frustrating in a hurry.
Well, it happened last week against Minnesota. They were behind almost the whole game, and then they finally come back and win in overtime. So, Mike, let me come to you because when you think of the way the Ravens have played this year, I think maybe John Harbaugh has told his team this week, guys, we can't play that way anymore. We have to come out very, very fast. We have to come out and put our foot on their throat and not let up. I believe that could help decide if people are betting on the Ravens. What do you think about that thought process?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. And my simulation, I make them all the way up to minus 9.3. So there's a tiny bit, you obviously should have played it at 7.5 if you can get it. But it's one spot where I totally get it. It's a big number in the NFL, but I don't have any issue laying it with this team. I think that they are clearly the better team. And I do agree with what you're saying. I think that they have delivered that message. AB is right, though. They do kind of get into field goal range and let Justin Tucker take it away sometimes, especially in games that they know they can win. But I personally am in the camp that thinks they'll end up covering the spread and end up winning by 10-plus points in this one.
Look at the top line there, Alex, and then we're going to get into our official plays for the game. Baltimore under John Harbaugh has never not covered the spread, and they've won 8 of those 9 games. To me, that's all I need to know. Trends, I know I've learned from you guys, you can't always follow trends, but when you look at that, that's got to make you feel better, not only about the side, Alex, but also a lot of those numbers that pertain to Lamar Jackson and some of their main players.
Yeah, I agree, Coach. I also think that it should be stated we've seen somewhat of a shift in offensive philosophy from this Baltimore team, partly due to the fact that their backfield has just obviously been ravaged by injuries. Their top 3 running backs coming into the season, all on season-ending injury reserve. We've seen a shift to the Ravens being much more of a high-volume passing attack. They're never going to lead the league in passing attempts, but Lamar has evolved substantially as a thrower of the football. We're seeing him set career highs across the board in all of his passing numbers. He also has a very, very talented receiving group, of wide receivers and tight ends. So, I think Baltimore's offense has been very, very impressive considering coming into the season. I'm sure they were expecting to run the ball down teams' throats. That's what they've done historically. That's what they've done recently. That's what they've had tremendous success with. They're no longer able to do that. We're seeing Lamar throw the ball very effectively. He ranks in the top 10 in a lot of advanced passing metrics. So, he has been very, very impressive to me.
All right, very good. We will get into our picks shortly. Shout out to C Breezy 915. He says, I hit 20 years in the Navy this month. Thank you, C Breezy. All right, I've got my first 4 winners of year-long memberships to SportsLine. Our first one is our first military winner from the Coast Guard at @chill_87. At @chill_87. Thank you for your service in the Coast Guard. Then we have our 3 winners from our 200 likes competition. Elliot Baker 1 at Elliot Baker 1 and at Vince Santinello. Let's get to 400. I'll give away 4 more, and let's keep those military messages coming. I love them. And also leave your Twitter handle if you're in the military, because we're separating you guys tonight, and you're becoming very, very special to us. So thank you for that. All right, let's get into our official plays on the board tonight. Here's where we stand as a show. Emory Hunt is on the Ravens, -7.5. Mike Tierney is on the Dolphins, +7.5. If you want their information and you're a SportsLine member, go to the game, click on the picks, and you can read all the reasons why they believe. I love when you pop that Coke. I just love when I hear that. So it's about information, education, entertainment. Now, let's get into our plays. And I believe I believe, Mr. AB, you've got a couple of official ones, do you not?
Yes, sir. I've got 4 plays. Now, look, I manage a Chick-fil-A drive-through aggressively. I also bet aggressively. So understand what we're doing with these tonight. Look, the first one, I'm going to go with the first quarter total under 9.5. You look at Baltimore, they're only averaging 2.3 points per game in the first quarter. And the Miami Dolphins defense is only averaging giving up 3 points in the first quarter of games this season. So we could see something a little bit tight on both sides. Second, I'm going to go with the under 46 here. You might be able to get it 46.5 depending on your book. Again, I think that we are going to see a game to where you kind of get a little bit of everything. You're going to get some big plays. You're going to get some turnovers. You're going to get some sacks. There's going to be a lot involved in this game. The chess match is going to be fun. And the next 2 are going to be Lamar Jackson over half an interception at plus 115 and Jacoby Brissett over half an interception at plus 100. And we'll break down those offenses and why, but those 4 right there, all over them.
Man, you are all over the interception props, and you have been cashing tickets left and right. All right. At Davey Boy in the chat says, my father landed as a Marine on Iwo Jima on day 1 and got off the island 31 days later. He fought in Korea as a company commander in the Army and fought in Vietnam and a missile commander Cold War. Man, I bet you have some incredible stories. Davey Boy, thank you very much for that in the chat. Mikey, I know you've been working on DFS quite a bit. Do you have any official plays yet for the game tonight?
I don't have anything official yet. Probably about 10 minutes away.
You got it. No problem. All right, Alex, I know that you are locked and loaded. What do you got for us tonight?
Yeah, I have an official play that I've yet to give out anywhere, SportsLine special. I also want to say I was elated to see that the Godfather, the Maestro, is also backing this play. That was a very welcoming sight to see. But yeah, I'm backing Mark Andrews over 49.5 receiving yards tonight. The Dolphins have allowed the 4th most yards to opposing tight ends this season. Andrews has gone over in 5 of 8 games this year. He's had at least 44 yards in 7 of 8 games this season. He's averaging a robust 70 receiving yards per game. He's averaging 7.6 targets per game. Also, I like that Miami's corners are healthy, and when they are healthy, they are very good. The Dolphins have actually given up a lot of production to opposing wide receivers, but that was with Xavier Howard and Byron Jones, both missing times, both banged up this season, but they are both elite corners and they are healthy coming into this game. I think that they're going to somewhat neutralize the receivers for this Baltimore offense, which will enable Mark Andrews to have an even larger role and impact in the game. Miami has allowed 2,670 receiving yards on the season. They've allowed 132 receiving first downs. Both of these are more than any other team in the NFL. The Dolphins are giving up a lot of yards and first downs to opposing receivers. This bodes well for Andrews, in my opinion. He's also coming off of 2 subpar games by his standards where he was held under 50 yards. I just love this spot for him versus Miami's defense that has given up a tremendous amount of production over the middle of the field. I have him projected at 70 yards, which is a very significant edge as well. So, yeah, I absolutely love this prop. Mark Andrews over 49.5 receiving yards tonight.
Boom. Mikey, back him up.
Yeah, I definitely want to back him up here. So before the show, I wanted to play Nick Boyle as my first touchdown of the day. I thought he was potentially going to be activated for this game. He was not activated for this game. That's a big deal because Boyle did have a significant role with this team when he was healthy. They ran both of those tight ends out there a lot. So I'm all in on Mark Andrews as well. I think he's a fantastic play in this spot.
Oh, very good. AB.
Yep. So to back up what they're saying, not that they need it by any means, but I want to explain just really quickly what you're going to see on the Miami Dolphins defense compared to the Ravens offense. Look, Miami runs press man coverage 49% of the time, which is most in the NFL. So you're going to see their corners directly on the line of scrimmage, okay? So how you beat that is you run crossers, okay? So you're going to see the Ravens trying to use somewhat some rub routes, but really just trying to confuse Miami's secondary, most notably corner players, get them kind of just all over the place. And that's exactly what the Ravens offense does, especially, in the passing game with Lamar Jackson, better than anyone in terms of how they operate it. So if you can find guys who are going to go across the middle tonight for Baltimore's offense, they are going to eat and eat and eat because that's how Baltimore is going to have to move the ball down the field.
It's funny that you say eat, AB. It really is. Because in the chat, Eric Chang says, hey, Coach, the kids are tired of mayo sandwiches for dinner. I need a winner. We just gave you like 5 of them, but I'm going to give you a few more. I'm going to give you, Eric, a few more because I feel for your kids. Somebody's not managing that bankroll very good if all you got is mayo and you can't put any turkey on the sandwich. All right, so I've given you the official plays. Also, Alex mentioned the Maestro, so he's also on Mark Andrews prop. He's also on Durham Smythe over 8.5 receiving yards minus 115. Then Mad Max and the Thunderdome weighing in with 3 official plays on the show. Lamar Jackson over his rushing yards, 64.5. Jalen Waddle over 60.5 receiving yards, and Jalen Waddle over 5.5 catches. All those are at minus 110, and the last one at minus 105. Someone in the chat also asked, Mikey, will you be having a donkey parlay tonight? And the answer is?
Of course.
Of course he's going to have a donkey parlay tonight. We all have our jobs. We all stay in our lanes. And Mikey has 8 lanes that he has to drive down, but he's very good at all of them. All right, now we're going to get into our props. This is where Alex really starts to elevate his game. For the next 12 to 15 minutes, if you have a prop you want us to talk about, put it into the chat, and we will get to as many as we can. But, guys, we got to start with the quarterback props because the Jacoby Brissett props just dropped into the feed a couple of minutes ago, and the yardage prop for Brissett is under 237.5 is the number. I say under because I feel like that's where we need to lean. Alex, let me come to you on that one.
Yeah, I think the 237 line is somewhat efficient. I would lean on the under, though, but I would also say that this Ravens defense has been somewhat vulnerable through the air. They're very stout up front. They're excellent at shutting down opposing running games. I think that they're going to find a lot of success doing that to Miami's practically non-existent running game and Myles Gaskin. But yeah, I think Jacoby Brissett is a viable backup quarterback. We've seen him be productive. We've seen him, he's played somewhat okay this season. I do think he'll be able to move the ball versus this Baltimore defense. Not to the point where I'm comfortable playing the over, but yeah, I do feel this line is efficient. If I were looking at it, I would lean slightly to the under, but yeah, I'm not I don't have a strong lean on it one way or the other.
All right, very good. We do have over 1,000. We have a huge audience watching right now. Over 1,000 people watching. We're just over 400 likes. I need you to do me a favor. Everybody watching right now, drop the comments, hit the like button, and then put them right back up and keep chatting in the chat. But I need everybody to do that for me. Also, put in your Twitter handles so we can find you when we give away all of our stuff tonight. Now, over 63.5 rushing yards, Lamar Jackson. Big Daddy says yes or no. Well, if we played over at 64.5, I would assume we'd play it at 63.5, Big Daddy. So there you go. I can answer that question for Mad Max and the Thunderdome. I'm confident in that. Now, let's get into some receiving props tonight, guys. Marquise Brown, over 4.5. He's been the guy that when you look at a lot of their games, he's at the top of their receiving props. Mikey, let me come to you at plus 102. Do you like that number?
So the issue here is Sammy Watkins is back. And I'm not exactly sure what that's going to look like. I do lean towards the over here. I do think that he can end up with 5 catches in this game. You're going to need Miami to keep it competitive for me to feel really good about it, though, because Rashad Bateman is here, and he's here to stay. With Sammy Watkins being introduced back into the mix, Mark Andrews obviously healthy, I think it's kind of fragile. I think that he'll have the targets. It's just a matter of, is he going to pull them in? But I'm not expecting the 9 to 10 targets that he saw last week in this particular spot.
Okay. Alex.
I just want to back up what Mike said. I agree with him wholeheartedly. Marquise Brown is certainly talented enough, capable to get off versus any secondary, even one as talented as Miami's. However, Sammy Watkins is back tonight. He was actually surprisingly second on the team in targets prior to getting injured. So his role was pretty sizable. Obviously, we have Rashad Bateman, the rookie wide receiver, who has been very impressive. It'll be interesting to see how their roles sort of shake out now that Watkins is back. But yeah, and then furthermore, Brown is going to be tangling versus 2 exceptional corners. So this is not a great spot for him, in my opinion. Furthermore, I think Baltimore will look to Mark Andrews quite a bit. I also think they're going to at least attempt to rely on their running game tonight. So we might not see the sort of volume that we've seen in previous weeks from this Ravens passing attack in this sort of game script versus a Miami team where they're nearly 9-point favorites, and Miami has just been terrible stopping opposing ground games.
All right, I'm going to come to you, AB and Mikey. Real quick, though, we need to give out another military membership to SportsLine. This man is always in the chat, every damn show. He's always positive. He's always pumping us up. So tonight, Danny, you've won your year-long membership, my man. You are an Army vet. You're also an Auburn football fan. So just because Allie doesn't like you doesn't mean that we don't. We don't. So at Danny Ho 009915553. You just won yourself a year-long membership to SportsLine. Thank you for all of your support. Now, I know both of you were getting ready to weigh in. AB, let me come to you, and then Mikey, whatever you were going to say.
Yeah, so, going off of that look, both of these teams are going to want to run the football and limit the exposure and potential turnover possibilities by putting the ball in the air from both quarterbacks. But both teams are going to have to put the ball in the air because they can kind of stop the run a little bit, and they do it in different ways. Miami, remember, we talked about them last week. Their defensive line will get after your quarterback. Like, they will put pressure on you. And if you see, a Ravens offense, with Lamar Jackson to where you're getting pressure up the middle and on the side, and you're facing press man coverage of really good cornerbacks, you don't have a lot of time to get the ball out there. So you're going to see a couple shots to where you get one-on-one with a safety, but you're not going to get many of them, man. Like, he's not going to have a lot of time back there. So I think that anybody that you can find that is going to be able to make a difference in the short passing game is really going to eat tonight because they're absolutely going to need it. This is going to be a wild game, just a wild game. Everything about it. The betting, 90% of the public is on the Ravens. Yeah, like 90% of the public's on the Ravens tonight. The over just went up. It's now sitting at 46.5. This is a weird one, man. Just watch out. Watch how it plays.
All right, Mikey, what do you got, pal?
Yeah, I would just say on Marquise Brown that if I had any interest in his props, it would be the longest reception prop. I think that he'll get one or two shots, and I think he might catch one of them. And if he does, he could easily take this one to the house in this matchup. But so that's where he'll benefit from having Sammy Watkins and Rashad Bateman and Mark Andrews all in the field. But I don't think it's going to be through volume. I think it's going to have to be connecting on one of the deep shots. So I think the longest receptions, as long as it's less than 25 yards, that's where I would feel the most comfortable investing in Hollywood Brown tonight.
Okay, very good. Jake text in the chat said over 1,000 watching, but not that many likes. I want to see the coach action figure giveaway. For those of you who are new, if we get to 1,000 likes, that very number we've hit once this year, my man Prop Stars, you see it right now in his hand. He has the very elusive coach action figure from my WWE days, and it's a exclusive with the official sunglasses and the shirt, the whole deal. But we're not just giving it away. We have to get to 1,000 likes. So let's pound that like button. We have enough people watching right now. We really, really do. All right, let me come back to Alex Yu, because in the chat we had a question on Rashad Bateman. His number is over 35.5, minus 150, though. It's juicy. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I like Bateman quite a bit. I've been very, very impressed by him this season. Very, very explosive option. I prefer his yards to his receptions because he's capable of breaking off a big play. I am, however, concerned with Sammy Watkins being back tonight. Like I mentioned previously, he was second on the team in targets before he got hurt. So he had a very significant role in this Ravens offense. Bateman, I'm not expecting him to be the odd man out, but it is possible that he's third or fourth on the team in targets. So yeah, I prefer to wait and see with him to see what sort of role, how many routes he's running, if he's what his role in this offense is going to be, coupled with the fact this is a tough matchup and the Ravens should, in theory, run the ball a lot. So yeah, as much as I'm bullish on Bateman long term, I don't love his prop tonight.
I feel like the information I'm getting from the three of you, if I'm translating it correctly, it's let's be careful with the receiving props tonight, because this could be like a typical Thursday night. If the Ravens get up, let's just get in and get out and be healthy. Let's just get in and get out and be healthy. Quick question, because we have new people coming in all the time. To you, Alex, you already played that Mark Andrews prop. How high up would you play it?
Up to about 54.5. I'd be comfortable with it.
All right, very good. Up to 54.5. All right, AB, let me come to you. A lot of people asking about Ahmed, his rushing total. Last week, he only had 6 yards on 4 carries, but yet he's getting a prop line tonight, 17.5 rushing yards, minus 130.
Ooh, all right. So minus 130, that's some juice out there, but I think that he does eclipse this number. I think that Miami is going to try to do everything that they can to limit Jacoby Brissett, because we saw 5 turnovers out of the Dolphins last week. And while they play, aggressive defensively, they want to do it safely on offense. So yeah, like the juice is up there. But I do think that he gets this number. I'd love to hear what Alex or M Squared think about this one.
Okay. Yeah, I actually do like this prop a decent amount. Reason being, Myles Gaskin is coming off of a game in which he had a season-high 20 carries versus the Houston Texans last week. On a short week, he was completely ineffective as well. He turned those 20 carries into 34 yards. Pitiful performance. That was against a Houston defense that has just been absolutely terrible against the run as well. So yeah, it would not surprise me whatsoever to see, because these are the only 2 healthy backs on the roster. The other one is Patrick Laird, who's primarily a pass catching back. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all to see Ahmad potentially split carries, early down work at least, with Gaskin, end up in the 5 to 8 carry range, and yeah, have Miami lean on him a little bit more than they have previously, just due to Gaskin's ineffectiveness, coupled with it being a short week. Ahmed didn't get a lot of work last week either, and yeah, this just seems to be a pretty good spot for him. So I do like him tonight. I do like his over.
Okay, thank you very much. Mikey, I'm coming to you in just a second on Jalen Waddle's longest reception of the game, 21.5. So think about that for a second. But a little housekeeping to take care of. I've got our next 4 winners of year-long memberships to SportsLine. Welcome to the family, everybody. Here we go. At Bulls_Titans, at Drawbetta, at Chip Douglas 6, and at Dalton L9, the jeweler. We'll reach out to you on social media and give you all the details. But you've got SportsLine for an entire year, all the cappers, all the simulations, everything. Now, you guys are responding, and I'm proud of you. So we got the 400. We're only 20 away from 600. I think we can get to 1,000. At 800, I'm giving you guys a $100 gift card towards a Paramount Plus subscription. That's damn near a year, too. I'm just like Santa Claus tonight. So I just read the 400 winners. All right, I gave it all out. I got it all done. Sometimes a housekeeping takes your mind away. So let me come to you, Mikey. Waddle, you love and you're so good at targeting guys with their longest reception. What do you think about that one with Waddle?
I don't love it. I like some of the yardage. I like the over on the reception number, but I don't like a lot of deep shots to him tonight. Personally, I think that they're going to be. I don't like it as much as I thought I might. I would like to see that number under 20. If it's under 20, I go for it. But anything over 20, I think, is a little sketchy. I actually think they have quite a bit of depth at the wide receiver position tonight still. Preston Williams being another guy that's going to be out there. I'm not interested in the longest reception on Waddle.
Okay. We're hearing from the chat, thank you to Sean, that apparently Sammy Watkins is running plays with the first team in warmups tonight. So you can't always take anything from that, but the fact that he's out there with the first team says a lot tonight. AB, let me come back to you, because there was a kind of a cool prop in the chat that they had a question on. Lamar Jackson having more passing yards than the Dolphins team at plus 100. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think that he's going to. They're going to have to put the ball in the air to win the game. Like they're not going to just run it. Even if they're up, they're going to have to pass. So, yeah, that's a fascinating bet. It sounds crazier than it is. Like Jacoby Brissett doesn't throw, intermediary to deep passes to begin with. So, yeah, like I like this play for sure.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that one, but I do. Alex, what do you got?
What was the play? Sorry, I missed
it. Was Lamar Jackson having more passing yards than the Dolphins do at plus 100.
Gotcha. I have another prop that I like that I just saw that just was released. I wanted to mention it, because I do like it a lot.
Yeah,
and I haven't been able to put in the time to make this an official play, but I am going to call this a lean. That is Jacoby Brissett over 20.5 completions. This line just came out. Brissett has started or played in 5 games this season. He's gone over in 4 of those 5 games. He's had at least 24 completions in 4 of those 5 games. I think he's averaging just around 27 completions per games in games that he started this season. Furthermore, I do think that he will have to throw the ball a lot against this Ravens defense. I think Miami's running game is going to be ineffective. They don't have the personnel. Their offensive line has been poor. Myles Gaskin has been completely ineffective. I do not think they're going to find very much success against this Ravens team. The Ravens team has also been somewhat of a pass funnel. They've been a short pass funnel as well. I think Brissett is going to target the running backs, the tight ends a lot tonight. That will result in a lot of short completions for him. I think he's going to have to throw the ball high volume to be competitive in this game. So yeah, as a lean, I do really like Jacoby Brissett over 20.5 completions.
And we all know in the sports betting universe that a prop star's lean is better than most people's best bets and locks. Let's just be honest. Speaking of being honest, have we all looked at the time? We know what time it is. People know what time it is in the chat because they're all asking for it because we've crossed the top of the hour. And that can only mean one thing. Actually, 2 things. The first one, I'm going to my man down in the far right corner. We love on these nighttime games the good old-fashioned M-squared donkey parlay. So, Mikey, as always, top of the hour, the floor is yours.
All right, Coach. The last 2 – I got to wait for that sounder. I knew he was going to hit me with it again. So we've hit 7 of 8 the last 2 times. You got to make sure we hit them all this time. There's only 7 legs on this one. We're taking the Miami Dolphins plus 18.5, the Baltimore Ravens minus 2.5, the over 35.5, Lamar Jackson over 49.5 rushing yards, Mark Andrews over 34.5 receiving yards, Myles Gaskin over 9.5 receiving yards, and Durham Smythe over 7 receiving yards. Put them all together, comes back at plus 525.
We preach all the time that sometimes bets can and should be fun. It doesn't always have to be serious. This is one of our fun plays every single Thursday, Sunday, and Monday night. And damn, I love it so much. Now, 2 things left to do in the show. Van Jefferson Memorial first touchdown of the game. And then we will recap all of our official plays with a full screen so you can still have about 10 minutes to get them in. So, Alex, I'm going to come to you. No, I'm not. Mikey, this is always you first. Now, who do you got tonight? For those people who don't know, this has to be plus 1,000 or higher. This is a fun play. There's a club that people are members of. Mikey started the club, and then there's people like me and Alex and AB that are on the outside of the club knocking on the door. Can you open it? We don't know the code. Can you open it? Mikey, what do you got?
Oh, man. So I wanted Boyle. He is out, but unfortunately. So I'm going to take a real deep shot here. I think this guy's going to be involved a little bit here. Preston Williams for the Miami Dolphins, 40-1 on DraftKings. Probably going to be 50-1 over on MGM. They typically hang 50 on a lot of these like really long shots over there. But Preston Williams is the guy. I think that he's super talented. I've watched him quite a bit, and I think that he's going to have some opportunity tonight in this game. I wish I could have a backup tight end on the Ravens to play because I think that that's the side to be on. But unfortunately, Mr. Boyle is not active tonight.
All right, so we're going to go with that one. Preston is the first one. All right, Alex, I know the fire that burns inside of you for wanting to be in this club is like nothing that I've ever seen. Is tonight your night?
I am certainly hoping it is, guys. I also want to pat myself on the back. I also had Boyle coming into this. So, yeah, I'm on the same page as Mikey. That is always a welcome sign as far as I'm concerned, especially when it comes to the Van Jefferson Memorial prop. Yeah, so my play is going to be I had done extra credit work again for you, Coach. I know you love how I suck up to you. I'm a teacher's pet. I had two guys coming into
You're
it.
my favorite.
Thank you, Coach. And it is, in addition to Boyle, who's unfortunately inactive, the other guy is Mac Hollins. I saw this at plus 2,400. Hollins, former Eagle, I might add. Shout out to my Philadelphia Eagles brethren. He's 6'4", 220 pounds. He has 2 touchdowns scored in the last 3 games. He also only has 17 targets this season. That's pretty impressive touchdown to target ratio. He's playing a lot more recently. He's assumed Devontae Parker's role in the lineup. Devontae Parker is also inactive in addition to Will Fuller. And also Jakeem Grant was traded. So, yeah, he's pretty much serving as the number 3 pass-catching option in this offense behind Gesicki and behind Jalen Waddle. I also think Waddle and Gesicki are going to receive a lot of attention, defensive attention, that is. He's big. He's a big physical red zone target. And, yeah, I'm spinning the dice. Mac Hollins plus 2,400. Let's go.
He's spinning the dice. DR, we see you in the chat, hitting with you guys in the best feeling ever. Love the streams. Keep me coming back for the laughs and the cash. It should be fun, right? You should have fun when you do this. All right, AB, you also are not in the club. What do you got tonight?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, try to get into it. And I just realized I'm drinking a V8, but the way that you drink it, it looks like I'm just firing silver bullets over here. So understand, it's just a V8, okay? But I just realized that it looked that way. Look, I'm going to go with the Ravens defense to score first, plus 2,500 in that range, because I think, one, the fact that I took the first quarter under and the under in the game, that means that some insanity is going to happen on the first drive. But I do think that with what the Miami Dolphins are going to do offensively, if they get the ball first, they are going to want to put the ball in the air, but very, very short. And you're going to see a Ravens defense that knows that. They're going to bring their secondary up, and they're going to bring their linebackers out, knowing that Jacoby's going to put 3 to 5 yard slants, hitches, out type routes into play, and they're going to absolutely be hunting for a pick 6 to start this game right. So, yeah, give me the Ravens defense.
I will lose my mind if you join the club on a defensive touchdown. I will lose my mind. Steven in the chat says, hey, y'all remember the time the coach shouted me out? I'm still stoked. Seriously, how about getting shouted out twice? How about that? All right, now it's my turn, because as much as Alex and AB want to be in the club, tonight is my night. Now, I'm going to tell you about my guy, Devin Duvernay, and here's why. He's got 15 catches this year. 2 of them have gone for scores. Last week against Minnesota, he scored a touchdown. I believe tonight that Lamar Jackson is going to go back to his security blanket, and that's Mr. Duvernay inside the 20-yard line. Catch him at plus 2,200. All right, let's bring in the man who runs the shows on the 1s and the 2s. We call him the Jeweler. Jeweler, are you joining the club tonight?
I think I am going to join the club tonight, and I'm going to go with the guy whose name has been coming up this entire stream. All right.
Okay.
We're going with Sammy Watkins.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I can look at him right now on MGM. You can get him at 2,200. So 22-1. This sort of reminds me in golf. We have that if there's a 2 in front of their name, you just bet it automatically, right? Like what we do with Rory McIlroy or Brooks Koepka, just because of the sheer value there. Obviously, he's coming off the injury. That's not exciting, but we talk a lot about the South Florida connection with Lamar Jackson, Hollywood Brown. I mean, Sammy Watkins, guy grew up in Fort Myers. That's just across I-75, Alligator Alley.
Yeah, easy.
So, I mean, I think this is clearly a home field advantage as much as there can be. Let's go with Sammy Watkins, 2,200.
All right, Mr. Monty Burns in the chat said he only has him at plus 1,600 at your book. It's still over plus 1,000, so it works. All right, we only have 5 minutes left, so I need to do this in 3. All right, so we need to recap quickly with the full screen on our official plays so everybody who came in late can get them in. Alex, I need them quick. What are your official plays tonight on the show?
Yeah, I've got one official play, one official lean. Real quick, it is Mark Andrews over 49.5 receiving yards. I absolutely love his matchup. Dolphins have been a tight end funnel as well. He's gone over in 5.5 games. He's averaging 70 receiving yards per game. A great spot for him versus a very soft Miami defense, especially up the middle, covering tight ends. The other play I have is a lean. Let me emphasize lean. That is Jacoby Brissett over 20.5 completions. He's gone over this total in 4 or 5 games. He's averaging close to 20 27 pass and completions per game that he has started this season. I do think Miami is going to find very little room to run against this Baltimore front that is very stout. He's going to have to throw the ball a lot. They're going to give up a lot of short area completions to running backs and tight ends. So I do like, as a lean, Jacoby Brissett over 20.5 completions.
All right, I think we need to work with Prop Stars on what he considers quick. All right, AB, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm going to go first quarter under 9.5. The game under 46. Lamar Jackson over half an interception plus 115. Jacoby Brissett over half an interception at plus 100. Also, quick note, in the second quarter of games this season, the Ravens have outscored the Dolphins 74-22. It seems like the Ravens always start the second quarter about to punch in a touchdown. So just keep that in note if you bet props by quarter.
All right, for those of you watching on YouTube right now, you can see all of the official plays from the Maestro, from Mad Max to the Thunderdome. And then also, Mikey, you have one official play too now, don't you?
I did, yeah. It's a lot more risky than a normal situation, but I'm comfortable playing it at this number. It's Sammy Watkins over 30.5 receiving yards. Look, I think this number should be 36.5 to 37.5, even in this situation where they are favorites and he's returning in his first game back. He was close to returning last week. I think that they didn't bring him back until he was truly ready because they had Rashad Bateman. He was playing well, but I trust that he's going to be out there and playing snaps here. So I like this. I think he can get there on 2 to 3 catches, which is only going to require 4 targets. And I think that that's what he'll get in this game.
All right. Very, very good. So those are all of our official plays. You see them on the screen. And now as we wind things up, I like to end every single live show letting my guys give 15 to 20 seconds on what they're most looking forward to in the evening. So, AB, let me come to you. What are you most looking forward to tonight, sir?
Yeah. Can the Ravens take care of business? Can they win a game that they're supposed to win and take control of this AFC North and put themselves at the top echelon of the AFC? They haven't looked great lately. Let's see if they can do it tonight.
Alex, what do you got?
Yeah, I can't wait to see this game. I love watching Baltimore's defense play. Obviously, Lamar Jackson is one of the most exciting shows or tickets in all of the NFL. I can't wait to see. I think the Dolphins will actually have a chance to be competitive as well. I just want to see a good game and all of our props hit.
Mikey, bring us home.
Yeah, looking forward to cashing that donkey tonight. And Sammy Watkins, I'm very interested to see how much they use him and how good he looks in his return. And looking to see what we can get out of the Dolphins. Hopefully they keep this one competitive. It hits all of our props and maybe goes over or actually under the total. Looks like AB's on 46, so I'd like 45 points in this one, please.
Yes, we would. By the way, Chris in the chat says, oh, no, I'm in sync with AB. Trust me, Chris. We feel the exact same way every single day. By the way, Alex, I feel like you're going behind my back a little bit because the bosses in the chat were shouting you out, and it makes me feel like maybe you're talking to them without me, and I don't think I like that very much. So we'll deal with that off screen. All right, another really good show. Now we've got to take it, as they say, to the field. All right, once again, happy Veterans Day to all of you. Thank you for all your messages in the chat. Hopefully all of you who won can use the SportsLine membership to the best of your ability. But don't worry, we're going to continue to give away stuff. We're waiting on T-shirts. We're waiting on pint glasses. As soon as we get in stock, we'll start sending them out to each and every one of you. Kelsey, thanks for running the chat as always. And there's only one thing left to do, and you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these Thursday night football tickets straight to the pay window. For our entire team, M Squared, AB, Prop Stars, The Jeweler, I am the coach. Remember, tell all your friends, come join us. Follow our YouTube channel. It's free. Become a member of SportsLine. You will not regret it. There's only one sports betting brand you even need to worry about. We like to call it the Early Edge. Good luck.